Stop everything you are doing right now. Sit down, breathe, and pay close attention to this message because it didn't reach you by accident. God wants to tell you something urgent today, before this night ends. That which you planted while weeping, that prayer you made on your knees on the bathroom floor so no one would hear, that request you repeated for months without seeing an answer, that which you did in silence, with a torn soul and a heavy heart, is starting to sprout right now. The harvest you swore would never come, it is coming. Not tomorrow, not next year, now. And in the next few minutes I'm going to show you the exact signs that your season of tears has come to an end. I will explain why God made you wait so long, what is happening in the spiritual realm at this very moment because of your life, and how to recognize the harvest before it passes right in front of you, without you even realizing it was meant for you. If you feel a tightness in your chest watching this video right now, it is confirmation. Do not leave. What I am about to reveal to you could change everything in the coming weeks of your life. Let's start with what you need to understand first. There is a huge difference between the crying of someone who is frustrated and the crying of someone who is planting. Most people cry out of frustration. They cry because the bills arrived, because the marriage fell apart, because the child won't listen, because work is suffocating, because the body hurts, because the end of the month doesn't add up. This crying is natural, but it evaporates. It doesn't water anything. Now there is another kind of crying, my friend. A silent cry. A cry that no one sees. A cry that comes when you kneel in the dark of your room, after everyone else is already asleep, and you talk to God with an open heart. It is the cry of someone who surrenders. This cry does not evaporate. This cry becomes a seed. A seed watered with tears grows differently. It grows strong. It grows at the right time. And that is exactly what is happening in your life right now, even if your eyes cannot see it yet. You are over 35, 40, 50 years old. You've lived long enough to know that life here in the United States doesn't give anything away for free. You've worked for years at a company and were let go without warning. You've trusted people who betrayed you. You've made plans that crumbled. You've tried to start over 3, 4, 5 times. And perhaps at this exact moment you are asking yourself, is it worth it to keep trying? Does God still remember me? I'm going to answer you once and for all. He remembers. He remembers you by first name, last name, and address. And even more, He is waiting for the exact moment to deliver everything you planted, because a harvest out of season rots on the tree. God is not late. God matures things, and what is coming to you now is coming ripe, complete, and without flaws. Everything you felt, this hidden crying, this faith that wavered but did not fall, is proof of one thing: you were called. The Father does not allow just anyone to go through what you went through. Those who are called go through the sifting process, and you passed. But listen to a truth that few understand. The problem in front of you today is just the top layer of a much larger spiritual chessboard, where you are the primary target. The enemy knows that your harvest has been released in the heavens, and that is why he is putting on the pressure now, right now, to make you give up in the final minutes. That is why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, 21 days of prosperity and alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading. It is the manual that teaches you day after day how to protect the harvest that is coming, how to not let the enemy steal what is already yours by right, and how to align yourself with God so that every tear planted becomes multiplied fruit. The link is in the first comment of this channel. I'm warning you now, this content has already been attacked. They've tried to take it down because it challenges the system that wants to keep God's children asleep. So download it now before they take it down again, and comment below, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book." This comment is an act of faith. It is the declaration that you will no longer lose what is yours. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the lie that made you believe your harvest wouldn't come in this lifetime. I need to explain something to you about God's timing that no one has told you properly. The Bible in Psalm 126 says a very powerful phrase: "Those who sow in tears shall reap with shouts of joy." This isn't poetry, it is spiritual law. Tears shed on the right ground with true faith produce a harvest. But the problem is that the American people have been conditioned to expect fast results. We want a miracle via Venmo, an answer via instant message, healing in a pill. And when God takes time, we think God has given up. It's not like that. God is waiting for you. He is waiting for you to mature so you can receive what you asked for. Because if He hands you right now what you aren't ready to carry, it will destroy you. Have you ever stopped to think about that? How many times did you ask for something, didn't receive it, became resentful, and years later thanked Him for not receiving it at that time? How many people have you known who won everything at once, but lost everything immediately after because they didn't have the internal structure to carry the blessing? God isn't punishing you. He is preparing you. And now comes the first sign you need to recognize. Sign number 1 that your harvest is arriving. You've started to feel a strange peace in the middle of the chaos. You still have the problem. The bank account is still tight. Your heart is still hurting. But there in the middle, deep down, something in you has calmed down. You don't cry like you used to. You don't despair like you used to. This isn't coldness, brother. This is the Holy Spirit telling you, calm down. I'm taking care of it. Those who are still in the planting field don't have this peace. Those who are harvesting do, and this peace is the first sign that the season has turned. Sign number 2. The right people are starting to appear in your life. Suddenly, out of nowhere, someone you haven't seen in years calls you. Someone recommends an opportunity to you. Someone invites you to a conversation that changes everything. Do you think that's a coincidence? There are no coincidences in the kingdom. There is spiritual synchronicity. God is aligning the instruments to deliver the harvest to you. And sign number 3, this is the most subtle. You are starting to dream again. You spent months, maybe years, without even the courage to plan anything. You thought dreams were for someone else. But lately, without you forcing it, an idea comes. A desire comes. A will to do something different arrives. This is the Father sowing the next season inside of you. Because today's harvest is tomorrow's seed. Pay attention now, because this part is important. Everything that is happening, this peace, these right people, these dreams returning, is not by chance. It's because the Father set you apart. But precisely for that reason, the enemy is trying to confuse you. He knows you are close, and when you are close, he applies pressure. He pressures the finances. He pressures the family. He pressures the body. He pressures the mind with bad thoughts in the early hours. The kind that come at 3 in the morning without you calling them. What you are living through is just the visible layer of a much larger war. In the spiritual world, your harvest has already been released. The angels have already received the order. But the enemy puts obstacles in the delivery. It's like a package from the post office that was shipped but gets stuck at the distribution center. That is why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, 21 Days of Prosperity and Alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading, it is the instrument that unlocks what is stuck. It teaches you, day after day, the right prayers, the right fasts, the right decrees to open the path of the harvest to your hand. It teaches you what to say when fear comes, what to do when doubt hits, and how to position yourself before God so that what was promised is delivered in full. The link is in the first comment of the channel. They've already tried to take this material down more than once because it exposes what the common religious system hides from God's people. So download it now, before they take it down again. Like this video if it is touching your heart, subscribe to the channel and turn on the bell so you don't miss the next messages the Father gives me to deliver to you. And most importantly, comment below, I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This comment isn't just words. It is a decree. It is a declaration of war against everything that has been robbing you. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the lie that your life has no way out. I'm going to tell you a story that you might identify with. There is a lady named Mrs. Martha from rural Ohio, a simple woman, a widow, who raised 3 children alone, selling homemade corn muffins at her front door. For 20 years, she heard from everyone that she wasn't going to make it, that all that sacrifice was for nothing, that it was better to just settle. But every night, after she tucked in her children, she would kneel by the side of the bed and cry. She didn't cry out of rebellion. She cried while surrendering. She spoke to God like one speaks to a father. Lord, I can't do this. Take it. Take this house, take these boys, take this life of mine. And at 48 years old, Mrs. Martha, who had finished middle school in a rush, opened a bakery. At 55, there were 3 branches. At 60, the youngest son, who she thought would be trouble, became a doctor. The middle one became an engineer. The daughter became a teacher. And Mrs. Martha told me a phrase I never forgot. "Son, what looked like a delay was an adjustment. God was preparing me, but He was preparing them too. If it had come sooner, I wouldn't have been able to hold on to it. Do you understand? The harvest only arrives when all the pieces on the spiritual chessboard are in place. Now I want you to do an exercise with me. Take this moment, look back, and try to remember a situation from the last 5 years where you swore you weren't going to survive. Remember, that month the money ran out on the 10th. That fight that seemed to have destroyed everything. That diagnosis that scared you. That betrayal that hurt so much. You survived. You are here. Watching this video. Breathing. That is not a small thing. That is proof that there is a hand guarding you. And if that hand guarded you in the worst storms, it is not going to abandon you now that the sun is rising. It really won't. That's why I ask you, from the bottom of my heart, don't give up today. Today, specifically. Because there are people who give up the day before the delivery. There are people who drop the prayer the week before the miracle. There are people who abandon the fast on the very fast that was going to unlock everything. Don't be that person. And here is a warning that might bother you, but I need to say it. There are things you planted that weren't meant for you to harvest alone. You planted for your children. You planted for your grandchildren. You planted for a generation that hasn't even been born yet. This is spiritual maturity. This is understanding that you are part of a lineage, not an isolated individual. The blessing that is coming might arrive through your son's mouth, through your grandson's hand, through your daughter's marriage, and you will be there to see it. How many American parents sacrificed their whole lives without seeing a return in themselves, but saw their blood prosper? This is a type of harvest, and it is one of the noblest that exists. But there is something else I need to tell you now. And this is perhaps the hardest truth. There are harvests that the enemy has already blocked. Yes, I know it hurts to hear that. But it is the reality. There are promises that God made in your life that are stuck at the spiritual portal because you haven't closed the breaches yet. It could be a word of anger you spoke years ago. It could be forgiveness you didn't give. It could be a childhood wound that still bleeds. It could be a family curse that has been repeating from generation to generation in your house, and no one has broken it yet. Have you never wondered why in your family everyone gets married and divorced? Why everyone goes through the same financial tight spot at the same age? Why there is a sickness that jumps from father to son to grandson? This isn't just genetics, friend. This is a spiritual pattern, and a spiritual pattern only breaks with a spiritual tool. That is why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, 21 Days of Prosperity and Alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading. It is a guided 21-day journey where you will, step by step, identify the breaches in your life, close the doors the enemy is using, break the patterns inherited from your family, and align yourself with God in such a way that the withheld harvest is released once and for all. It has specific prayers for each area, decrees based on the Father's words, and practical directions for you to apply in your daily life. The link is in the first comment of the channel. And I'll be honest with you, this material has already been reported. They've tried to take it down more than once because it reveals what many leaders don't want the sheep to know. The system prefers you dependent, coming back every week. The Father prefers you free, walking in truth. So download it now. Don't leave it for later. Comment below and comment now out loud in your heart and on this video. I am chosen, and I will download the digital book. This decree in your mouth opens the gates of heaven for the delivery. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the lie that made you think your house would never be blessed. I will explain to you now one of the most hidden truths about the harvest phase. When you enter the harvest season, 3 things happen at the same time. The first is that you feel deep inside a different kind of tiredness. It's not the tiredness of defeat. It's the tiredness of someone who has arrived. You start losing the will to argue over nonsense, to fight for small reasons, to keep proving things to anyone. Your soul becomes quieter. You prefer silence over being among empty people. This scares many people away from you because you change. And when you change, those who were attached to you in the old way distance themselves. Accept it. This is part of the process. The harvest doesn't fit in the old life. The harvest requires new clothes, new skin, new company. The second thing that happens is that you start to have clarity. Those decisions that seemed impossible suddenly become obvious. You know what you have to cut. You know what you have to accept. You know what you have to forgive. You know what you have to abandon. It's not your head reasoning. It's the Spirit leading you, and this clarity is a gift, because the time of planting requires faith without seeing. The time of harvesting requires discernment to act, and discernment comes in this phase. Those who learn to listen receive instruction. Those who receive instruction and obey receive delivery. The third thing, and this is the most beautiful, is that you start to reconnect with your childhood faith. Remember when you were a child or young, and you believed in God in a pure way without ulterior motives, without overthinking. Remember your first prayers. Remember the feeling of knowing, without needing to understand that He was there. Well, that comes back, not as nostalgia, but as a foundation. The Father takes you back to the place where your faith began, so that from there you can grow strong again. Many people will write here in the comments, "Brother, I'm feeling this. It's exactly what I'm living." If that's your case, write it down below, tell your story. We want to pray for you. This channel isn't just a channel. It is a collective altar where we intercede for one another. And at this moment, I need to talk about something very common in our culture. We have a culture of suffering. We were taught that suffering is a virtue, that crying is proof of faith, that the more we get beaten down, the holier we become. This is a lie that many people swallow without chewing. No, friend. God didn't call you to eternal suffering. God called you to go through it. Suffering is a season. It is not a dwelling. There is a time to enter and a time to leave. And many people get stuck in the season because they think it's a mission. It's not. Your mission is to prosper, to be light, to bear fruit. Suffering is part of the path, but it was never the destination. Therefore, if you still identify as a sufferer, it's time to change your identity. You are no longer the one who cries. You are the one who harvests. Decree now, out loud if you can, I am no longer the one who cries. I am the one who harvests. Recent research shows that over 70% of Americans over 40 report some level of chronic anxiety. Do you know what the biggest cause is? The feeling of not having time to reverse what they've lived. The feeling that the time has already passed. The feeling that the best part is behind them. I want to tell you something while looking firmly at you. That is a lie. A lie planted to paralyze you. The best part of your life might be exactly now. At 45, at 50, at 60. Several biblical characters were only called after 40. Moses was 80 when he freed an entire nation. Abraham was elderly when he became the father of nations. Why would it be different with you? The age the world tells you is the end. God calls a platform. You have experience, you have maturity, you have scars, you have faith tempered in the fire. This is the best fuel for the harvest. But pay attention, because now I'm going to give you 3 practical attitudes you need to take this week to speed up the delivery of your harvest. The first is to stop declaring defeat. Your mouth has power. The Bible says that out of the abundance of the heart the mouth speaks, and what the mouth speaks materializes. How many times a day do you still say, I'm broke, I'm dead tired, my life isn't moving, no one values me? This is a reverse decree. You are decreeing the opposite of your harvest. Today, right now, decide, I will no longer talk like that. I will speak like someone who has already received. Even before seeing it, I will give thanks. Even in the tight spots, I will say, it's coming. This change of language reconfigures the spiritual environment around you. The second attitude is to close pending cycles. There are people you still need to forgive. There is emotional debt you still carry. There are situations from the past you revisit every night. As long as you don't close these cycles, the harvest cannot enter, because it has nowhere to settle. Your life is occupied with old baggage. Release it. Forgive, even if the person doesn't deserve it. Forgive for your heart's sake, not theirs. Those who forgive, release. Those who release, receive. The third attitude is to enter into a strategic fast. It's not a fast to impress God. God doesn't need your hunger. You do. Fasting is your body learning to obey your soul. It is the exercise of showing yourself that you are in charge of you. When you fast, your spirituality sharpens. The answers come faster. The blocks fall. And for those who have never fasted, start simple. 1 meal, 1 day, 1 period. The important thing isn't the size, it's the intention. Do this week and tell me in the comments what changed, because I guarantee you something changes. It always changes. I'm going to stop to ask you a direct question. You've watched this video this far. We've gone through a lot. We've talked about signs, timing, the enemy, identity, and attitude. I know there are people watching this in the middle of the night, alone, with tears on their faces. I know there are people watching this during their lunch break, in the bathroom at work, escaping for a bit. I know there are people watching this while their husband or wife sleeps beside them. It doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you stayed until here. And staying until here is already a decree. It is already a way of saying to God, I want it, I believe it, I'm going for it. Comment now before continuing. Write, I will harvest. Just that. I will harvest. In a little while you will come back to this video and read your own comment with the harvest already in hand. Now I'm going to touch on a subject that many people avoid, but which is central to the harvest: money. Many people have a wounded relationship with money. We were taught that money is dirty, that the rich don't go to heaven, that suffering is holier than prospering. But that is a distortion, not the word. The word says the Father takes pleasure in the prosperity of his servant. The word says he gives power to gain wealth. The word says the blessing of the Lord makes one rich and adds no sorrow with it. So, if you are in a harvest season, prepare your heart to prosper. And prospering isn't just money, it is life in abundance. But it includes money, yes, it includes you paying your bills on the right day. It includes you helping someone. It includes you having a surplus at the end of the month. And for that, you need to break old concepts. Decree now, I am worthy of prospering. My Father takes pleasure in seeing me prosperous. I will not refuse the blessing he prepared for me. Repeat it 3 times in your heart. Feel what happens inside of you. When the people of Israel crossed the desert for 40 years, God made it very clear. He allowed the desert so they would learn to depend on him. But the promise was never the desert. The promise was the land flowing with milk and honey. The desert was a season, the promised land was the destination. If you still think your life is just a desert, you are reading your map wrong. You are at the end of the desert. The land is on the other side of the river. And the river is just this last crossing you feel you still need to make. Trust. The river opens. It has always opened. And about relationships, because harvest includes healed relationships. There are people watching this video who are in a dead marriage, or a marriage that seems dead. There are mothers who are distant from their children. There are children who are hurt by their parents. There are siblings who haven't spoken to each other in years. The harvest will also enter this area. But for that, you need to stop waiting for the other person to take the initiative. The one who matured first takes the first step. It's not weakness, it's greatness. Pick up the phone today. Send a simple message. I was thinking of you. I love you. Just that. You will be surprised by what can sprout from such a small seed. Many reconciliations in this country started with a simple text message in the morning. Don't underestimate it. And about health. I'm not a doctor, and nothing I say here replaces professional care. But I can tell you a spiritual truth. Many illnesses affecting people over 40 have emotional roots. Chronic migraines, high blood pressure, gastritis, digestive issues, insomnia. I'm not saying it's all just emotional, but the emotional state pushes it. And those who enter into a harvest begin to heal these areas. Because peace lowers cortisol, faith lowers inflammation, prayer decreases anxiety. This isn't shallow faith, it is biological faith. The body responds. Take the test this week. Wake up. Open the window. Take 3 deep breaths, out loud, give thanks for 5 things, and see how your day changes. That's why I insist. You cannot miss this window. This harvest window is not eternal, it has a deadline. And in this time frame, you need to be awake, aligned, and positioned. You can't stay asleep. You can't keep complaining. You can't keep doubting. You have to be ready. Those who arrive at the airport at the exact time of boarding get in. Those who arrive 5 minutes late watch the plane take off. Your time is now. And maybe you are wondering, how do I know if I'm really in a harvest season or if I'm just deluding myself? Fair question. I'll answer you. You know by the signs we've already listed. You know by the peace in the chaos, by the right people arriving, by the dreams returning, by the tiredness of small things, by the clarity in decisions, by the return of childhood faith, and, you know, mainly, by an internal sensation that something big is about to happen. It's like a premonition you can't explain. It's not anxiety, it's expectation. If you feel that, it is confirmation. It's coming. Don't doubt anymore. And here I need to tell you the hardest truth of this entire video. The harvest may come, but if you don't know how to protect it, it will go. There are people who receive and lose. They receive a job and lose it in 3 months. They receive a marriage and destroy it in 2 years. They receive a child and don't know how to raise them. They receive money and spend it without direction. This isn't a lack of blessing. This is a lack of preparation. The harvest requires a manager. And to be a manager, you need knowledge, discipline, and constant spiritual alignment. The enemy doesn't give up just because the harvest arrived. He changes tactics. Before, he tried to stop you from planting. Now he tries to stop you from keeping. That is why, and I speak with all the seriousness of my heart now, that is why the Father prepared the sacred book for you, 21 days of prosperity and alignment with God. This sacred book is not just a reading. It is, in practice, your spiritual shielding program. For 21 days, it leads you through precise stages. You learn to identify where the attack is coming from. You learn to close the doors you accidentally opened. You learn to position yourself before God so that what enters your life stays, prospers, and multiplies. It teaches you the specific rules so you don't just receive the harvest, but manage it with wisdom. It teaches you how to relate to money the Father's way, how to care for your relationships as a priority of the Spirit, and how to keep your health aligned with the principles of the Word. 21 days is the time science says it takes to form a new habit. And it is the biblical time of transformation, like what happened with Daniel when he fasted and had the vision of the angel. It's not a coincidence, it's spiritual design. The link to this sacred book is in the first comment of this video. I need to warn you with full transparency. This content has already been attacked. They've tried to take it down more than once. There have been reports, because it challenges the narratives of the religious system and the world system that want God's children small, dependent, and settled. I insisted on keeping it available, but it could be removed again at any moment. So download it now. Right now. Don't close this video without having downloaded it. And after you download it, come back here and comment. With faith, I am chosen and I will download the digital book. This is not a common comment. It is an act of faith. It is the declaration before the heavens that you are no longer a spectator of your life. You are the protagonist. You are no longer the one who asks and gives up. You are the one who asks, receives, keeps, and multiplies. Now that you've decided to act, the next truth I'm going to tell you will be the final blow against the lie that made you think your story was going to end where it got stuck. And this last truth is the most liberating of all. God does not write stories with sad endings for those who trust in Him. He is not going to give you a life of planting just to abandon you before the harvest. That is not His way. His way is to restore, multiply, and return double. Look at the book of Job. The man lost everything, children, possessions, health, but in the end, he received double. Double. It wasn't just comfort, it was restitution. And our Father is the same one Job had. What He did for him, He does for you. You are not smaller, you are not less loved, you are a child, and a child is not left out of the inheritance. Therefore, before I finish this video, I want you to do 3 things with me. First, close your eyes for 10 seconds and give thanks. Give thanks for what hasn't arrived yet but is on the way. Second, comment below what you believe is coming into your life. It could be healing, restoration of marriage, financial prosperity, the return of a child, liberation from an addiction, the conversion of someone in your family. Write it down, because writing is also a decree. Third, share this video with someone you know needs to hear this message today. It could be a specific person. Send it on text. Send it privately. This message needs to reach more hearts. And if you haven't downloaded the sacred book yet, 21 Days of Prosperity and Alignment with God, go to the first comment of this video and download it now. Don't leave it for later. There are things that if you leave for later, they don't happen anymore. This is the moment. The Father brought you to this video, made you listen up to this part, and touched your heart to confirm that He is speaking to you. Don't waste the calling. Download it, read it, apply it. 21 days separate you from the version of your life you always dreamed of. 21 days separate you from the protected harvest, from deep alignment, from complete delivery. Comment, "I am chosen, and I will download the digital book," and seal this moment with your own mouth. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the bell, like this video, and leave me in the comments what touched you the most. I read everything, and when I read, I pray. This channel is an altar, and you are not alone here. We walk together. May the Father bless you now, fill you with peace, direct you in the exact step of your next decision, and may the harvest that was planted with tears, watered with faith, and protected with obedience arrive complete, abundant, and multiplied in your life. In the name of Jesus, amen.